Testing.
There you go.
All right, I had Starbucks before this, and I'm like soaring right now. So basically, yeah, I sold 57 homes my first year in the industry, pretty much off of TikTok. I think it's important to tell this story.
You think you can just talk loud enough?
Probably. So yeah, I was a plumber, and basically I was working like 10 hours a day. I was driving for 3 unpaid. I was doing night shifts, on-call shifts, everything. And then I came across this podcast with a guy, I can't remember who it was, but he basically said, why are you doing so much shit that you hate to do? And in that moment, I realized, like, dude, I hate pretty much every single minute of my life. Like, there's like nothing that I enjoy. Like, I work all day, I come home, then I spend time making dinner, then I do dishes, I go to bed, I wake up, I do it all over again, right? So at that point, I was like, I gotta make a change. I got into real estate, and in the beginning, I was doing 50 to 75 cold calls a day. I was door knocking, I was running ads, I was doing flyers, and I was like, wait a minute, I hate all this shit. So like, again, I hated everything I was doing, right? So that's when I started kind of doubling down on social media. Gary Vee had been talking about TikTok for like the longest time ever, and I was like, I'm gonna try this app. You know, at this time, nobody was doing it. It was like perceived as like a dancing, like 17-year-olds dancing kind of app. And but nobody in my market was doing it except for like Alex and maybe like 3 other people. So I was like, I'll try it. And then like the 5th video I posted got like 100,000 views. And I was like, okay, this is like, I don't know if this is gonna sell homes, but like that's a lot of freaking eyeballs. So I might as well just keep doing this. And then it was basically like my 2nd month in the industry. I had already posted like 200 videos, went into a pre-sale center, shot a video, 7 people called me, 4 of them ended up coming to the pre-sale center, and everybody bought it. And I was like, dude, I was like, this is like more money than I make in 4 months of plumbing in like an hour and a half. I was like, I'm gonna keep doing this shit. So I doubled down on it, and yeah, I never looked back. I haven't done a cold call since like my 3rd month in the industry. Every once in a while I knock some doors, but yeah, so basically that's kind of how I built my real estate career. It's just like, if I don't like doing something, I'm not gonna build my business around doing it every single day if I hate it. Like, why am I, like, the whole reason why we make money is so we can eventually enjoy our lives. I'm not gonna wake up and do something I absolutely hate for 3 hours every single day. It just doesn't make any sense. So, kind of went over this already. I started off with the cold calls. And I'll go through why I chose social media, right? So there's a lot of different reasons. A lot of influencers have been talking about it for years now, right? But number one, this is something that I understood, and Gary Vee had been talking for a long time, is that attention equals currency. And I would argue that, like, people are only now just starting to say this in the last 5 years, but I would argue that that has been the way that the economy has always operated. Money flows to attention, right? So when you call somebody, you're basically asking them for them to give you their attention for like a minute, 2 minutes, whatever the case may be. And hopefully you say something good enough in those 1 or 2 minutes that they actually end up buying a home with you, right? So if you understand that attention equals currency and money flows to attention, then you should be picking avenues where it's easiest to get the most attention, right? So I can spend 3 hours cold calling 60 people, which is roughly how long it took me to call that many people without a dialer, right? And then talk to like 20 of them, because like a third of those people pick up. Or I can shoot one video that gets 10,000 views in 5 minutes, and I just did like 2 years worth of cold calling, right? So that's the way I looked at it. And obviously it's not the same because it doesn't go as, there's not as much depth as having a one-on-one conversation with people. But if people watch enough 30-second videos, it has the same effect as you calling them personally, right? And then number two, there's overvalued attention within the economy and there's undervalued attention. Now, realtors always get mad at me when I bring this up, but I believe this to be fact, is that, as a good example, right, let's just say a sign over the highway, right, that you pay $2-3 grand for. I don't know how much they cost, right? They're expensive. The attention today, the driver's looking at the road, the passenger seat is on TikTok, and the 2 people in the back can't even see the sign. So the attention isn't on that sign, right? The attention is on the phone, right? That works. Can you get deals with it? 100%. And for some agents, they don't mind paying the premium for that attention, because if they want to target a hyper-local market, sure, you can spend money on flyers, you can spend money on bus benches and all that stuff, and those eyeballs will be targeted in that market. But if you're a new agent, that is overvalued attention when you can shoot a video for free and get 5 times the views, 10,000 times the views, and those people actually get to see your personality, they connect with you, you make them feel something, and people remember the way that you make them feel. They don't remember the name or the face on the bus ad most of the time, unless they see it 50,000 times at the campus and everything, right? But, you know, people will spend, I remember I sent out flyers like $800 for 3,000 homes or something like that, and you know, 90% of those are going right in the trash, and the people who look at it, they just kind of glance at it, no, whatever, right? But if you were to say, and I'm not advocating for paid ads, but let's just take that same concept with social media, and you shoot a video, and you take that $700 and you run the ad spend through the video, and you target your hyper-local area. Well, at least now all those people get to see who you are and connect with you, rather than just a face on a flyer, right? So today, I believe still the undervalued attention is social media, right? I have agents on my team that get started and they shoot videos that get like 200 views. And they're freaking pissed that 200 people watched a video of them saying something, right? Like 20 years ago, you would have had to like book an event center for a couple grand, feed everybody lunch, and then give everybody water and blah, 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 just so they could listen to you talk for 30 minutes. Now you can just pull out your phone and shoot a video and 200 people just watch what you said. And I think in 5 years from now, once everybody starts catching on to this shit, people are going to be pissed about getting 40 views. And now 200 views is going to be a good amount of views. Because it only gets worse every year. In 2017, you could post a picture about nonsense, and it would get like 10,000 views. Like literally just a still photo of like a selfie would get 10,000 views. And every year it gets more complicated. You need editors, you need to zoom in, punch in and out, you need subtitles, you need music, you need blah, blah, and every year it's just gonna get more and more difficult. So the sooner you start, the better, right? And number 3, just like in our physical world, money operates on supply and demand, so does attention, right? So one of the reasons why I went with TikTok was because nobody was on it, right? Gary Vee had been talking about basically the reason why TikTok had such good reach 3 years ago, how you could post a video, be nobody with no followers and get 1 million views, is because when TikTok came out, all these people went to the platform and started consuming content on that platform. But none of the creators who actually create the content wanted to take the time to switch over to TikTok and learn that platform. So you had a massive supply-demand imbalance of all these people consuming content and barely anybody creating. And that meant that it was very easy for all of your content to show up on somebody else's feed. Same exact reason why paid ads are so expensive these days, because there's so many people competing for that space on somebody else's feed, therefore you have to pay higher to win the auction to get on somebody's feed, right? So understand that as more and more people start creating content, understanding that they're gonna have to do this, it's only going to get harder to show up on other people's feeds, right? So another thing that's a lot of people say is like one of the main questions I get is, what time of day should I post, right? And I specifically remember like one of my buddies who also posts on social media, I posted this video after like 10 p.m. And he's like, bro, why did you do that? Everyone's asleep. That video is not gonna get any views. And it ended up being like one of my most viral videos ever. Because what he didn't understand is like, yes, a lot of people watching the content are sleeping, but so are a lot of people who are creating the content. So it doesn't matter. So the supply and demand equals out, right? And then number 4, leverage I talked about, right? I think it's the easiest way to get the most attention possible, right? And then number 5, I just hated outbound prospecting. So I find there is typically 3 reasons why people don't use social media, which I'm gonna cover. I don't know why the PDF did this. I like downloaded it off of Canva and it like screwed everything up. But anyways, it says number 1, you're scared what people think. So this is what I found, and this is how you deal with it, right? So people are scared to post on social media because they're scared of what all of the people who already know them will think about them when they post. Because they know that everybody they know is going to talk shit about them. That's unavoidable. People are going to talk shit about you. And the reason why they're going to talk shit about you is because everyone has like a predetermined version of you that they've created inside their head. And the second you start doing things that are incongruent with the current version of you that they've made up, like posting on social media, to them, it's going to come across very fake and inauthentic. So they think, why is Connor posting TikTok videos? He doesn't do that, right? He doesn't post on social media. He's being fake. He's being inauthentic. But after you've been posting for 2-3 months, they just reinvent a new version of you in their head, and they stop talking shit, right? The second thing you can do, and partially what I did, is like if you're worried about friends and family talking shit about you from you posting on social media, just post on the platforms where they aren't on, right? So like you can go on TikTok where probably nobody follows you, and that's like one of the only platforms where you have 0 followers, post a video and thousands of people see it, right? Go on YouTube, and then perfect your skills, get better at posting the videos, improve your camera presence, have followers, have social proof. And then when you bring that content onto Instagram where most people follow you, well, you can be like, hey, I'm pretty good at this now, and all these other people follow me, so if you don't like it, that's on you, right? These people don't like it. So just start on a different platform if you're really that worried about it. So I have this quote up here. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'll pick a part, right? Who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. The people who hate on you are the same people sitting in the very top section of Staples Arena hating on LeBron James, saying LeBron James is a bad basketball player. These people can't do what you do. Right? Like you have the balls to post on social media, they don't. They're just hating on you, right? So sure, maybe my content's bad, I'm trying to get better at it. At least I have the balls to do it. You don't, right? 2, you don't know what to post. I'll help you with that right now. So number 1, tell a story. I think my most viral content has always been, maybe not always, but a lot of the time is storytelling, right? People love to hear stories. But I also think there's a caveat to that. I think when you tell a story, there should always be 2 elements. Because if you just tell a story and there's nothing in it for the viewer, it comes across as very self-serving. Like, why should I care about you buying an AMG or whatever, right? So I think when you tell a story, it should be like, this is what happened to me. This was the problem that I experienced, and here's the solution. So then it comes across a lot less self-serving, and there's actually something for the viewer to take away, right? So any story that I tell, there's always a problem intertwined that eventually gets solved, so I can pass on that solution to the viewer, right? 2, neighborhood videos. I love these. I know Russell shoots them. The reason why I love these videos is because I believe as a content creator, you should never talk about something that you know nothing about, right? So if you don't know about the macro economic outlook of Canadian real estate, or like how the bond market moves, then you probably shouldn't make content on it. Because those people without profile pictures in your comments section do know about that stuff. And they will call you out on it, and you will look stupid, right? So the beautiful thing about neighborhood videos is that if you grew up in Kelowna, and you talk about Kelowna, like the best restaurants, and the best neighborhoods, and the worst neighborhoods, and 5 things I wish I knew before moving here, all these kinds of videos, somebody who lives in Osoyoos can't tell you you're wrong, right? Like you are the authority figure when you talk about Kelowna because you've lived there your whole life, right? So those are amazing videos. They do really, really well on YouTube. And the thing with YouTube too is like people that struggle to come up with content, you can literally just go on YouTube and there's millions of content ideas. You can literally just take somebody's title for a video they've already shot and just be like, that's a good idea, and then make a short form version of that same video, right? Top 3 pros and cons of living in Kelowna. Okay, that's a 20-minute video on YouTube. I'm gonna make it in 30 seconds on short form, right? And vice versa, you can do them both. Property tour videos. I talk about this a lot. This is the easiest video for like any realtor to completely change their life and business within 90 days. If you just did that, and you went out and shot 1 a day for 90 days, your life would be in a completely different place in 90 days, right? And every single realtor who I have told to do this is now closing 1 to 3 deals a month and not cold calling anymore, right? It actually blows my mind. I was just telling these guys in the car on the way here, because I used to be a plumber, and I'd literally work like 26-hour shifts in other people's shit. And I'd be like, no sleep, no food, no nothing, like rummaging around in the back of my van at 3 in the morning, like looking for a fitting. And I'm like literally like whimpering and crying. So like, dude, I just want to find this fitting, fucking fix it and go home, man. And like now these guys can't shoot a damn property tour video for like 1 hour a day, go shoot a property tour video, make 200 grand? Blows my mind, bro. Green screen videos. I've sold a lot of homes off of these. Basically, you just put up a rendering behind you of anything, right? Like if you're gonna talk about the top 3 parks, give the viewer a visual behind you, right? If you're talking about such and such park, put the picture of the park behind you. If you're talking about a pre-sale, put a picture of the pre-sale behind you, right? This is Jericho Crossing from $469,000, 10% deposit, completing in 2027, and you have the rendering behind you. Those do unbelievable. I think green screen videos do a great job at pattern disruption, disrupting the pattern of somebody's feed. Because they're like, what is this? It's not normal. It's not just somebody's face. It's not just whatever. It disrupts the pattern and it causes people to stop scrolling and watch it. Another thing that works really, really well for these is articles. So news articles are written in such a way that they're meant to grip the viewer's attention. And the people who write these articles, like this is literally all they do. They're copywriters, so they know how to get people's attention. So if you green screen a news article, right off the bat, that title will likely cause somebody to stop scrolling and hear what you have to say about that article. So those work amazing. You can do it for like, oh, this new brewery is coming to Kelowna next year, so just talk about what it is.
Would you like questions during or after?
You can do one now.
Is there an app for the green screen video?
Yeah, you can do it on TikTok. So there's like an effects section, and then you can click on that, and then you just screenshot whatever photo you want in there, and you can put it up right behind you. And you can even like point at it, right? So if I'm Instagram has it too. Yeah, I typically shoot it on TikTok, and then I re-upload it to Instagram. So that's the other thing, is like you can shoot one video, and you can upload it to Facebook Reels, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, TikTok. Like you can, from one piece of content, you can have 4 pieces of content, right? You can even write a script for the TikTok video, and then post the script to Twitter, and then make the video on the script, and then like literally have like 18 pieces of content from like one thing, right? So, market stats, updates, self-explanatory, listicle videos. So this is like 3 reasons you should do this, 5 reasons you should do that, 7 reasons to do this, and top 3 that, and pros and cons. And you can like intermingle all of these, right? So like let's say listicle, pros and cons, neighborhood video would be top 3 pros and cons of living in Kelowna. Top 3 pros of living in X neighborhood, right? So you can intermingle all of those, and all of these do amazing. I find the market stats ones are typically the most boring unless you are like very, very educated on the market and you can say stuff that most people wouldn't know or think about, which very few people can do. But all these other ones work amazing, right? I find whenever you're talking about like a neighborhood, people always have to chime in, right? And like the engagement increases. If you talk, Kelowna's a shithole, you know what I mean? So like anytime you talk about a neighborhood, it seems to do really, really well. So I'll cover this one after I drink water. So there's a group of people, and I have a few in my life who I'm trying to get started on social media, who don't think they need it because their business is already successful, right? They're already making it. They're like, why do I need to do this? I don't want to put myself in the line of fire and deal with the haters and look dumb and all this stuff. When I'm already making good money, I don't need to do this. So I was taught by a mentor of mine, his name is Wes Watson. He's like a very intense dude. I don't know if anybody's ever seen him online, but basically he taught me, and you can believe this, or you can believe something else, this is what I believe, that the purpose of life is to create the person that you admire most and give that person to the world, right? A lot of people out there have already done the first half of it. They've created the person that they would admire like 10 years ago. They're making 500K, 800K, $20, they've gone to the gym, they've solved all these problems in their life, they've overcome so much, but they're not doing the second part. They're not giving that person to the world. And the reason why I think that that's like the purpose of life is because that's exactly how humans evolve, right? We can't evolve unless we have all of the teachings from the previous generation. Like this has happened for thousands of years. We used to write stuff on caves, right? And that's how we would pass down the teachings and the solutions of prior generations. So without people doing this, right, we don't evolve as humans, right? So I'll share a story with you. I put out a video about, because I used to drink and smoke. I'm sober, by the way. I don't do any of that anymore. Woo. Yeah, thank you. I put out this video on why smoking cigarettes are bad, right? And it went like super viral, like 900,000 views. And then I actually got 3 or 4 messages of people that DM me. They're like, bro, I think you saved my life with that video. So I got curious and I started like looking at smoking statistics, and 11.5% of people in the States smoke cigarettes. It's like 90, we'll call it 90,000 people. And then 30 to 50% of people will eventually die due to smoking related causes. So of the 90,000 people who smoke and watch that video, statistically speaking, basically 30 to 45,000 of them will die, right? So then I started thinking, like, what is the probability that somebody watched that video and that was the straw that broke the camel's back? Where they were like, you know what, this dude's right, screw this, I'm done with smoking, and then never smoked again. That video, as stupid as it sounds, like, is very improbable that it literally didn't save a life, right? And I know that sounds dumb, but I know it probably did because it happened to me, right? It was like early May 2020, I was watching like on YouTube, if you go on YouTube, there's like these stupid like compilations of like people saying inspirational stuff with like motivational music, and there's like B-roll. Never watched these videos. No idea how I ended on that side of YouTube this night, but was watching one, like a short clip of Jordan Peterson came up. I know everybody hates him now, but in this moment he said something pretty sick. He said, stop doing all of the stupid shit you know you shouldn't be doing. Imagine where your life would be if you just stopped doing all of that shit. And then I realized that I was like, that is so simple yet so profound, because we all do stuff we blatantly know we shouldn't be doing. Like whether it's like procrastinating in the morning or eating something shitty or having a drink or whatever, like we all know we shouldn't be doing it, yet we do it. So like 2 days later, I got freaking hammered, and I woke up and I thought about that video and I was like, fuck this, you know, I'm gonna quit. I literally stopped everything May 9th, 2020, and my life took off like a rocket after that, just like straight through the stratosphere. I managed to like lose a bunch of weight. I started looking a little bit better. I didn't have like bags under my eyes. I quit my job as a plumber, which I would have never been able to like have the confidence to get through the course. Like I'm like basically an F student. Like the real estate course was very hard for me. I know people make it seem like it's a walk in the park. It wasn't for me. I had to like do that shit for 2 hours a day, right? Which I never would have been able to do had I not stopped all that stuff and I had the clarity from stopping all of it. So that one sentence in that one moment of me watching that one stupid video literally changed my life. And now I credit like a good portion of my success to that one sentence. So it's like you literally have the power to completely change somebody's life, saying the right thing at the right time, and then that person will literally credit their success to you saying that one thing, which is completely insane. So I think if you're not on social media, I think there's a good reason for anybody to be on social media. And even the people that aren't making like a crap load of money and have solved all these problems and whatever, there's always people that are 2 steps behind you that are dealing with the problems that you dealt with being the person you were 2 years ago, right? So maybe I can't teach somebody how to make $1 million a year, but I can teach somebody how to stop drinking and quit their job to go do what they actually want to do, right? So I think no matter who you are, you can solve other people's problems. We've all gone through these things, and we have the power to solve these problems for other people. And the easiest way to do that, to actually get in front of people, is social media. So the way I look at my social media, pretty much how I looked at it since somewhere at the beginning, was that I look at it like I'm killing 2 birds, 1 stone. Realtors don't like to talk about this, but I think at some point, AI will probably replace some of us, right? I don't know how much of us, but it's coming, and it's coming fast, right? And I think there's probably a cheaper way to sell a home rather than $50,000 at some point, right? That being the case, I look at it like I'm building my future business with whatever that might be in terms of social media, whether it's a media company or maybe I charge people to do something like this, like speak on stage or sell courses or whatever it is. I'm building that business today, and indirectly, I get to sell real estate. Having a personal brand and a following is job security. Because if you have eyeballs, all you need to do is put a product in front of the eyeballs to make money, right? If they say, I can't sell real estate anymore, and my whole business is built on cold calling people to sell real estate, what is my plan now, right? I have to go start something else and learn from the ground up all over again. Well, if they tell me I can't sell real estate anymore, I can make 10 grand a month doing my skincare routine, right? That was a joke. But you get what I'm saying, right? So it's job security. Having the eyeballs is job security. Having the audience is job security. Having the personal brand is powerful. And why not build it as you're selling real estate? Why not just put out content on real estate to build the personal brand and sell real estate, right? The exit, the pivot, right? I probably don't want to sell real estate for 20 years because it's stressful. And people are very illogical, right? So eventually, I would like a way to exit. And like I said, the personal brand is the exit at some point. If you have enough followers, there's no way, there's actually a statistic out there. Across like the industry of all influencers, you'll make 50 cents to $1 a month per follower. That's like across the industry. So when I actually like looked at all my followers and I added it up, it's pretty much bang on with that. Every year it's been pretty much bang on with that. So every year your following grows, every year so should your income, which is the nice thing. It's very predictable. It's not just like, yeah, my business is sick, and no, Bank of Canada raises rates 500%, and now I'm freaking eating ramen, right? So it's, I think it's a more sustainable and stable way to grow a business, right? And then when it comes to personal branding, so there's like old marketing rhetoric, which is like create an avatar and then cater all your marketing towards the avatar. And I think that you are the niche, right? And the avatar are the people who are most like you. And you can't find the people who are most like you unless you talk about who you are and you give your opinions on everything, right? So the easiest way to build a personal brand is talk about past experience. So a lot of my clients used to be plumbers and tradesmen. They used to smoke, they used to drink, they, whatever the case may be. They're people that feel more connected with me than the next guy, right? I had a guy one time pay me for coaching, and he was like, yeah, I was gonna pay Mike Sherrard for coaching, but I ended up paying you because I actually used to be a plumber and I used to smoke, right? So talking about those experiences, people will connect all of these different things and that forms the brand, and the people that connect with all of those things will connect with you and become the avatar, right? So I think just talking about your past experiences, giving your opinions on things, you know, whenever I talk about the market or I give information on where the market's going and all these things, I always put my opinion out there. It's never just here's the information, it's always here's the information, here's my opinion on that information. That way I'm building the brand at the same time, right? And then the second part of this, when it comes to personal branding, is a lot of people when they talk about social media, they'll talk about like hashtags, time of day to post, algorithms, all these kinds of things. And I believe that all of that stuff, unless it's YouTube, you do have to care about that stuff. On short form, you don't. Short form, I believe all that stuff is secondary to the person shooting the content, right? If you want to build a personal brand, focus on the person on the camera, right? So, like an easy fix, if you want to make the person better, if you're like, yo man, I don't know why all my content's getting 300 views and blah, 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 and this and that. Well, are you drinking flights of craft beer on the weekend? Yes, right? Are you smoking? Yes. Are you getting high? Yes. Are you not going to the gym? Yes. You're doing all those things? Okay, stop all of that, and the personal brand will get instantly better. People follow you because you're interesting. So when you do things that are out of the common, like, out of what people commonly do, you become more interesting. Most people drink and smoke and blah, blah, blah. Most people don't go to the gym consistently. Most people do all these things. So when you stop doing all those things, you become uncommon, making you interesting, meaning more people are more likely to listen to what you have to say because you're now an interesting person. Right? Get left. Volume, quantity over quality. I shot 7,000 videos before I found the one that worked for me, and then I gained like 25K followers in 3 months. 2, consistency. Post every single day, never miss, ever. I will literally post a video at 1 in the morning that's completely crap, that I hate, that I know will not get views, just to make sure that I get my post out for the day, because that is the most important thing. Once you miss a post, you get inside your head, you start thinking less of yourself, you start questioning everything that you're doing, just like when you miss the gym, you start having doubts, right? So just never miss. Mindset, those go hand in hand. Trial and error, post a lot of videos. Just talked about this one, polarizing opinions, right? Always information, opinion, never just information. 6, how often to post? At least once a day. I post like 5 times a day. That's my Instagram. You can follow me there. It would be greatly appreciated. Thank you, everybody.